Good morning, good morning, Panthers Nation. What is up, though? It is Aaron Duncan here with Unnecessary Blunt Sports Talk. Recap and analysis of the Carolina Panthers is what goes down on this here channel right here. So, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, bell icon. You guys know what we do here. We break it down, and this is a morning reaction to the Panthers versus Saints game yesterday. I've tried to get a new perspective. I be in my feelings after the game. Y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I do after the game. I'm buzzing a little bit still from the game, my feelings and emotions and stuff. So taking a night to digest and think about what happened and put stuff into perspective, cooler heads like to prevail. I'm not drinking beer today. I am drinking Starbucks coffee. I have a short one, not a tall one, a short white chocolate mocha. I don't know what your drink from Starbucks of choice is, but white chocolate mocha is mine. So no beer today. But as usual, this is not an endorsement. I'm not being sponsored by Starbucks. I would never try to sell you guys overpriced dirt because Starbucks does taste like dirt. Let's just be real. It tastes like dirt. The coffee is not that great. They sell the branding. They sell branding. But it is what it is, man. If you guys are checking in, if you're sneaking and geeking at work, listening to this in the background, I appreciate you joining me. If you have a chance, leave a comment down below. Give me a what up, though. And give the video a thumbs up if you can. If you're not, like I said, grab you a protein shake, grab you a coffee. Let's talk about this game, man, because I mean, there's not too many opponents that I really despise more than the New Orleans Saints. I'm not gonna lie. The Falcons, they're up there. The Cowboys, of course, are up there as well. But the Saints are really the opponent that I really, really despise losing to. They are. And they weren't as like obnoxious and stuff this year because they aren't happy with this in this situation either. I don't think they're happy with their quarterback, their coach, or just how the team has gone this year. But it felt like the energy in this disdain was a little bit lower. Now the Panthers did suffer a 28-6 loss, but it felt a lot closer than that. I mean, the game was pretty close in the fourth quarter per usual. Things happen. Defense starts to get fatigued, and the dam eventually breaks. Typical Panthers game. But this game yesterday was a little bit different than usual. I have to commend the Panthers, man. They are really inventing new ways to lose. They are defying all logic of football about things that you really normally see in football games. Because you don't normally see a team rush for 200 yards and lose by 22 points in the NFL. Maybe you'll see that in college if you got Navy versus Notre Dame, because Navy, they run that wing T wishbone. But you usually don't see teams rush for over 200 yards as a team and lose by 3 possessions. Just because when you run the ball that much, it's typically ball control. You typically are keeping it out of the opponent's hands, and it just shortens the game. Typically, when you run the ball that much, you grind that clock. There's not enough time and possessions in the game for you to lose by 3 possessions. But the Panthers really are defying all logic of football and finding new ways to lose, and they did it yesterday. They did it. And it just has to do with the turnovers. It has to do with a block punt for a touchdown. I mean, the analytics, not even analytics, the numbers and the history and statistics on a team that suffers a block punt in the game, I think there's like an 88% chance that you win the game if you block a punt in a game. And the Panthers did that. And the 88% made it win. It might have gone up a tick after yesterday. I'm talking about probably one of the worst outings of special teams in Chris Tabor's career. I know he's not happy today. I know that film breakdown today or tomorrow is gonna be not fun. Not going to be fun. Because block punt, we had a missed kick by Eddie. A punt return, wasn't that great? 2 returns, 23 yards. Didn't get anything for ourselves in the kicking game. Field position battle was lost the whole time. I don't even know what the average starting field position was for this team. It was just ugly. And I'm sure Chris Tabor, being the coordinator that he is, he's not going to be happy. He is not going to be happy. But these are the things that don't really show up on the box score or the stat sheet that really tell the story about how you can run for 200 yards and still lose by 3 possessions. It's crazy. Shout out to my guy Big T. What up, though? Be wise. Thanks for checking in. Kyra J said McCray going down in the first place sums up our season. It is dangerous to play guard for the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry. And I've tweeted it out, but it's dangerous to play guard for this team. You're either going to probably be cut at some point or you're going to be injured. The luck of playing guard for this team is just, it's crazy. It continues to add up. And the first play of the game, a non-contact injury. I don't think we got really clarification. They said it was a calf injury. And I don't like to speculate because I'm not a doctor. I'm not even one of these Twitter internet doctors. But when you see somebody go down, non-contact, and they're pointing at their calf, and the team reports there's a calf injury, I've seen Kevin Durant. We saw Aaron Rodgers type of stuff happen to. You do the math on what type of injury that maybe was for Justin McCray. But it's a sad scene. Jay Issue, what up, though? What's good, bro? It's Justin. What up, though? But yeah, man, that guard injury was just, oh man, you hate it. You hate to see it, man, but it continues to happen week in and week out. And that's the thing, man. Like, people want to address the offensive line, and I agree. Our offensive line does need to be better. We do need more depth, but injuries to those positions are just almost inevitable at some point. I mean, really, we're on the bad luck side of the spectrum at this point. But I think injuries to your offensive line are fairly, not normal, but they kind of come with the territory, unfortunately. That's why I'm more focused on trying to add weapons and then add just competition on the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Like adding more competition there, because the weapons, weapons, it's hard to overcome lack of talent. When you have offensive line that's bad, injuries are going to happen regardless. So I feel like you should allocate some assets more to that side versus the offensive line, in my opinion. Because when healthy, I have decent confidence in our group, and with the proper, obviously, coaching and scheme, I have confidence in our original group with Brady and Corbett. Obviously, Icky is very frustrating, but I have confidence in that group. That's why I want to see additions to the weapons just to get some speed, because it's hard to overcome. Because there was a few times we actually had time in the pocket, and then guys either couldn't get open, so Bryce had to go to the check down, or it was a tight window, Bryce threw it up to him, they couldn't catch it, or they were wide open and Bryce missed them. It's just we never have two things that match. We never have two things like that match. We never do for the Panthers. Like, man, it can't get right. You plug one hole, water starts leaking somewhere in two other different places. It's so frustrating, man. It's sickening. It's sickening. Maybe they say this team is so frustrating. I know the team isn't helping Bryce at all, but he has some bad pocket awareness and looks lost out there. He said, dude said I quit. Jamel Hall, what up, though, bro? Big T said, shout out to Derek Brown. Pay that man. So he said, Chark has so many drops. Mingo is not developing as I hope. So it was that Twitter post from Thomas Brown, wife real. It was. Kyra J said, in my opinion, DJ Chark shouldn't be playing over Terrace Marshall. So that Miss Mingo pass was brutal. That's the one we need him to make the throw. Yeah, I mean, I told you guys before, we're so depleted offensively that there's literally no room for error. And Bryce is open for criticism. He takes the ownership. It's not like he passes blame, so it's not like he's dodging accountability. He'll be the first one to get up there and take blame for the stuff that he's not responsible for. He knows he needs to hit that. It's just those, I think fans get a little bit extra critical because misses happen. You miss stuff. Mahomes misses stuff. Josh Allen was missing stuff as rookie. Like, quarterbacks miss passes. They're not going to be perfect. It's just our fans we've conditioned our brain to feel like we need to be perfect because those opportunities are so few and far between. You have to make those happen. It's so crucial that those things need to be happening. It's just so crucial because we haven't seen a guy run that wide open deep all year, maybe. Have we seen a guy run that open all day? We're 13 weeks in. Have we seen a guy get that deep and get behind the whole secondary all year? We haven't. I don't think we have. Because one, we either don't have time for guys to get deep, or two, We have time, and they're not running by anybody. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. And then, like I said, it's just not two things that match. Guys are covered. Bryce puts it in a position where they can catch it. They don't win. They're not winners. And then when they do win, Bryce misses them. I was glad to see that we opened it up and tried things deep. Like, cause this is that we haven't stretched the defense much all year. But I think we did a lot. I think this is a career high for Bryce Young in attempts over 30 yards. But it was something different because the way the Saints play defense, they said we're going to commit to the run to try to stop it, and you're going to have one-on-one opportunities. We just don't believe your guys are going to be able to beat us downfield. So we're going to put guys one-on-one. And Thomas Brown and Bryce Young's game plan was to, okay, well, let's find out what we got. Throw it deep and give our guys chances to win. Win one-on-one. And see, on most NFL teams, when you have one-on-one opportunities down the field, offenses lick their chops. They lick their chops. And I was happy to actually see Bryce take those shots. Even though we didn't connect, I was happy to see him take those shots because those are passes he wasn't trying earlier in the year. Because guys aren't always going to be open. Guys aren't always going to be open in the NFL, but the way the NFL is set up, if you have one-on-one, you take your shot. Cornerbacks panic. They're not great in coverage when the ball gets there. Obviously, all the rules are slanted towards the offense's favor. And then typically you have guys in this league that can win. We just found out we don't have a ton of guys that can win deep. It's clear as day. We took every opportunity deep. I think Bryce had 8 attempts over 30 yards. Only connected on one. Only connected on one of those. So at least we tested them. We just failed the test. We tested them deep. We just failed the test. And this is what I thought would be scary. And if you guys remember from my preseason breakdown after the Lions game, when we played the Lions third stringers, I said that the Lions, they lined up and played man coverage against our guys with third stringers against our starters. And we struggled to move the ball. That really was a wake-up call to me because we couldn't win at that point one-on-one. They played man coverage. We couldn't win then. And I said this is going to be the formula for teams to stop us. They're going to make our receivers prove that they can win downfield. They're going to. And this was just the first time that we got blatant one-on-one and time in the pocket and time to actually try to take those shots deep. And we just failed the test miserably. Miserably on all accounts. From a protection standpoint, from a quarterback standpoint, from a receiver standpoint, we failed miserably offensively. Failed miserably. Well, no, what up, though? Big Jordan checking in. What up, though? Tim Estes, what up, though, bro? Said Mingo's effort level is terrible. It's weird, man. Like, Mingo tracking the ball deep sometimes, man. It just seems like he pulls up sometimes. It's weird. Like, it seems like him and Bryce aren't always on the same page at all. And, like, I don't know. It just feels like he's always 2 steps behind or they're just on different pages. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Big Jordan said he thinks Thomas Brown play calling is fine. Like I said, my only gripe with Thomas Brown's play calling is the short yardage situational stuff. I think, like I said, I think the game plan of just trying them deep and at least giving our guys a shot wasn't a bad idea. We had multiple opportunities down the field one-on-one. You beg for that in the NFL. Like I said, the rules are slanted that way. You beg for multiple one-on-one opportunities down the field. We just don't have the horses to make things happen. You have a rookie play caller with a rookie head coach with a bad offensive line. It's just not a recipe. He doesn't necessarily have all the answers to the test because his lack of time on the job. And you guys know I like Thomas Brown. I've analyzed his play calling in multiple videos. You know what I'm saying? But the situational stuff, I can't excuse it. I can't. We got to run the ball sometimes. We got to run the ball sometimes to at least try. We go 1 for 7 on 4th down. I haven't looked up how many times we actually passed the ball, But we went 1 for 7 on 4th down. That's not sustainable. 1 for 7 on 4th down as an offense is not good. It's horrible. But Thomas Brown, man, I know some of y'all, Mark Tarver, what up, though? Swab, what up, though? Said start Marset. Look, ISM, man, you saw what he did when he got that little end around, man. He got loose a little bit. So you didn't know Bryce had a rocket arm until yesterday. And he got legs. Bryce put the legs on display yesterday. That juke he had on Demario Davis was nasty. He made Demario Davis touch grass. How long before we can fix this? It depends who's the GM. So thank you for being a diehard fan, man. I only know one way to be. Unfortunately. But yeah, the only thing I can't defend for Thomas Brown is the situational stuff. This is 2 weeks in a row we haven't run the ball on certain occasions, and consistent occasions. Just be stubborn with the run. Overall, we were stubborn with the run, but when we had to the most, we didn't try to line up and do it. And I understand the Saints were showing blitzes late. They were run blitzing like crazy, getting penetration at times. I understand. But maybe lining up on the center. Try something different, man. 1 for 7 on 4th down. It's tough. It's tough. But we ran the ball strong. Chuba got his chunks. Miles Sanders had a monster run. I'm like, I got to give credit. I've criticized, y'all know I've criticized Miles Sanders. I got to give him credit. That was a nice run. Wish he had just a tad bit more juice to finish it because you guys know what we do in short yardage scenarios. But I got to give credit where credit is due. Miles has been efficient past few weeks. Miles has been efficient in the past few weeks. I know a lot of y'all are talking about Thomas Brown's wife, and I don't like to get too personal, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I'll probably talk about it more in a video later. But yeah, his wife, she was in Panthers Twitter streets. She was in the Panther Twitter streets. She actually commented on a couple of my posts. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I get so many replies and reactions to my posts during the game that my notifications are like blinding. Like I can't even find like certain responses. But when I went back and looked, she responded to a couple of my tweets going back and forth with some people. She since deleted her Twitter. But she tweeted out today. Let me see if I can find a tweet. She tweeted out last night during the game talking about the only reason Thomas Brown is still around is because somebody has to call plays. They kept Thomas around. Somebody had to call plays. She was like, if you can find somebody else to do it for the next 4 weeks, be my guest. Holla at Tepper and be our guest. She said, we already fired. Because somebody said that Thomas Brown needs to be fired. And she was just like, we already fired. She was like, the only reason we're still around is because we have to call plays. In my opinion, Parks Frazier, he called plays for the Colts when Frank Wright got fired last year. They could have went that avenue, but I understand them going with Thomas Brown because he's actually the offensive coordinator. And it doesn't seem like him and Frank were always on the same page. So I understand why Tepper decided to go that direction and put Thomas Brown. But I hope I can be frank with you guys and have this discussion. I know some of you guys get uncomfortable about this discussion, but I want to have this discussion. Because Thomas Brown, I actually feel bad for him, man. I actually feel bad for him. Because we know how the Rooney Rule is and why it was put in place to give black coaches an opportunity to have a fair shake in interviews, and it still really hasn't helped. And Thomas Brown being a black offensive candidate, it's even harder. Because we know what they talk about defense, the trends and all that stuff, and the excuses that, okay, hey, we're looking more for offense. It's just the way the league is going. It's not personal. It's just the way it is. Okay, fine. Thomas Brown coaches on offense. And he was under the McVay regime. He was an assistant head coach, running back coach, tight end coach. Didn't get to call plays because we know Sean McVay is the play caller. But as a black coordinator or assistant coach, he kind of looked around and saw that, okay, hey, am I really going to get a fair shake for a head coaching opportunity to elevate in my profession by being under Sean McVay's wing? In theory, he should, because we've seen guys like LaFleur. We've seen both LaFleurs. We've seen Kevin O'Connell. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Zach Taylor not even call plays, work for Sean McVay, still get a head coaching opportunity with their first time calling plays, have success, get an opportunity, and have success. Thomas Brown saw the writing on the wall. After they did Eric Bieniemy, where they didn't want to give Bieniemy any credit because of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, Eric Bieniemy had to go out, spread his wings, and take a risk. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. You, as a black coordinator, you have to take certain risks to prove yourself. Eric Bieniemy, like I said, it doesn't matter how many Super Bowl rings he has at the OC. People want to say that he doesn't interview well. He has this background off the field that's bad. And he doesn't really call plays. It's all Andy Reid. He goes to Washington to try to prove himself. The Chiefs are struggling a little bit offensively. Yes, it has to do with receivers, but you have to give Eric Bieniemy a little bit of credit there. Doing some things with Sam Howell. They throw the ball a lot. Their offense isn't great either. But those are the type of risks you have to go. You have to go work for lame duck head coaches like Ron Rivera, where the situation is less than ideal, but you have to take your shot and try to prove yourself. Thomas Brown was the same way. He was very candid in an interview earlier this year talking about him and his wife talking and pretty much saying that to be able to spread his wings and show what he could do, he needed to take that next step and go for an opportunity where he may be able to call plays. He comes to Carolina. Frank Reich doesn't really know him. I'm not even sure if Frank wanted to hire him per se. It seems like Tepper was the guy pulling the strings on most of these assistants on his staff. Didn't really get a chance to call plays. We were told by Panthers.com that he was the one building the playbook, but reports have come out later from Cameron Wolfe saying that this was Frank Reich's playbook. They tried to merge the two styles together, but most of it is just Frank Reich's playbook because the styles are very, very different. So you can kind of see just kind of the identity of one versus the other. Neither one is good right now with the personnel we have, but you can tell the offense just looks different than when Frank Reich was here and then it wasn't. I've made videos discussing this. But you have to take these less than ideal risks. And it ended up being Frank Reich wasn't a great coach for this opportunity either. He gets fired. And with Thomas Brown's name and identity being on this thing, working with a rookie quarterback, bad offensive line, lack of talent at the weapons, it's a stain on his resume. And it's unfortunate that you can say what you want. He carries himself. He talks like a great head coach. I think he has a good future in this league. Hopefully, he's still young. But these type of things are stains on resumes for coaches. No matter what else it's hard to overcome these type of things. Steve Wilkes was still being held hostage by what happened in Arizona, even though he took a bad Carolina team, got us to 6-6 mid-season, still couldn't get the job with Carolina. It's just the plight of what happens with some of these coaches, which is why, like I said, the Rooney Rule was tried to put in place to make an effort to change it, but it's ineffective, and it's the same old, same old. And his wife had a lot of words to say. His wife, she commented saying that somebody had a sensible take, saying that it's the circumstances suck. Rookie quarterback, bad O-line, rookie play caller. There's going to be some growing pains. And I understand that. That's why I said the situational stuff is stuff that maybe comes with more experience. Because I think the ideas that he came with and the stuff that he tried to do, we run the ball way more effectively these past 2 weeks. We just haven't run it when we need to. But I think that the running game, actually taking shots downfield when we're one-on-one, there were opportunities. We just didn't take advantage. He can't catch the ball for our wide receivers. He can't block for our offensive linemen. We run play action. We leave 8 men in to block and 2 guys on the routes. And as soon as Bryce Young puts his back foot in the ground, there's pressure in his face because the left tackle is missing blocks. You make adjustments as an offensive coordinator to try to get max protection, and it still doesn't work. There's just not enough answers to the test on this roster to really give anybody a fair shake for evaluation. Whether it's Bryce, whether it's Thomas Brown at this point, whether it's even the receivers at some point. It's tough. It's just a trash situation, but these are the situations that certain minority coaches have to take risk on to try to prove themselves. And unfortunately, it comes back and bites them in the butt. Because some guys, it takes them years. Like Raheem Morris, defensive coach for the Rams. What he's done with the Rams has been nothing shy of remarkable. Very good defense. Playing good ball. He hasn't gotten a second shot to be a head coach since that his stint with the Bucs. His stint with the Bucs was less than ideal, but it's just been a permanent stain on his resume. And it does. Who knows when he's going to get another shot, or if he does. Leslie Frazier, same thing. He retired. Who knows if he'll come back? Not to mention, if you coach defense, you're already in yourself. You're already in a hole. You're already in a hole because people don't want to hire defensive coaches either. So it's a double whammy. It's just unfortunate, man. But an article came out yesterday talking about it's going to have to be some defensive coaches hired. There's not enough offensive guys to go around. The people have been picking from the offensive coordinator tree too much. It's going to have to be a come to Jesus meeting, and people are going to have to start actually picking the best candidate and not just the favorite flavor of the week on offense. Steve Wilson never been fired. Correct. Ten Tizzy, what up, though? But yeah, offense, man, it's when as soon as you think it can't get lower, it does. It does. But I just think, like I said, we're in a weird spot as a fan base as people are holding Bryce accountable for some of the mistakes that the front office and David Tepper. I'm told you guys, I'm not doing any of this stuff without putting blame on David Tepper. David Tepper got to catch this heat. He put all this stuff in motion. He kept Scott Fitter around. He allowed Scott Fitter to walk out these type of weapons after trading up for the quarterback. And now it seems like we may be doing irreparable damage. I think Bryce is made of the right stuff, that with proper coaching, with better personnel, he'll be able to overcome that stuff. But sometimes dudes can get punch drunk, man. You can get punch drunk. Like a boxer, you can get punch drunk. Where you get so many hits, so many bad plays on film that it starts to become habit. Stuff that we didn't see in college starting to pop up. It's terrible. It's terrible. And like I said, it's almost a throwaway year. The only thing we learned from Bryce Young this year is that he's tough as hell. The only thing that we've learned about Bryce Young is that he's tough as hell. Missed one game. He's been sacked over 40 times. Hit who knows how many times. Who knows how many sacks he's gotten out of. That's the only thing we've learned is he's tough. Because we've seen other quarterbacks drop like flies this year. You don't want to build those bad habits. Like I said, we went from trying to figure out if Bryce Young can take an NFL hit to how many NFL hits can Bryce Young take? Man. Chunk, what up, though? Billy Bright Music, what up, though? Yeah, Bryce landed on his neck yesterday. That was crazy. Dude landed on his neck for a first down. That picture of him laying on his neck is crazy. It's crazy. But you guys make sure you get a video thumbs up. We're going to talk about defense real quick. We're going to talk about some of this defense, man, because another solid effort from the defense. The score total doesn't really tell the full story of how well the defense played. But the defense, man, continues to excel. Jero Rivero continues to be a wizard in getting the most out of this group. Continues to be a wizard and get the most out of this group. Let's look at the stats. So, held them to 22 offensive points. Like I said, there was a garbage touchdown at the end. But 14 first downs, 3 of 10 on third down, 207 total yards, 4 yards per play, held them to 119 passing yards. 119 passing yards, only 4.1 yards per attempt. Less than 100 rushing yards, but the red zone efficiency was what really let us down as well on there. But they got a turnover. But it's overall, man, playing enough to keep the team competitive. This defense is a competitive defense. I think if we can kind of keep our core together with JC, Derek, Brian, Luvu, you can fill in the gap with the other pieces like we've done year in and year out. The constants have been those core pieces. But they've done a good job keeping this team competitive. They've done a good job keeping this team competitive. Anthony Montgomery, what up, though? Will it ever get better? I'm not going to lie to you, fam. David Tepper, who knows, man? I have zero faith in David Tepper until he does something that gives me faith. I have no faith in David Tepper until he does something to give me faith. So I can't even lie to you, say it's going to be better. The path, in my opinion, is clear. The path, to me, is clear. And it's not that complicated. And a proper GM and the right coach can get us together in 2 years, tops. 2 years, tops. We should be good for this division. Because it looks like most of the teams in this division are treading water with the current quarterbacks. And they're still not competitive enough. Everybody in this division is 6-7 right now, except us. 6-7 right now. The Falcons are trying to determine if they have their franchise quarterback. The Saints are already regretting their car. I don't think Baker is the long-term answer, even though he's showing some flashes for the Bucs. But all of them are treading water with the long-term answer at quarterback. But defensively, I was satisfied. A lot of tackling versus the run game was really frustrating early on. A lot of tackling was frustrating from the defense, but they got it together. They got it together on the run front. Like I said, ended up being less than 100 yards on the day. Kamara was shaking loose, unfortunately. Jamal Williams as well. But I was satisfied. I was pretty satisfied they got it together. Against the pass, they've been elite. So, to me, and I'm going to tell you what happens. Why I like Ejiro. And I'll break this down probably on a film breakdown just to show like how our pass defense has been so competitive. Ejiro has surveyed our personnel. And he's like, okay, let's look at what we got. We're not going to be able to stop everything, but let's take something away. Let's put a five-man front with one linebacker like Frankie Louvu that can shoot gaps, and let's have our safeties or our nickels lurk around the line of scrimmage and be there for run support. But we'll give a little bit more cushion on the outside. Don't give up big plays. Make teams methodically move the ball down the field on us and make them prove that they can do that. Because you have guys up front like Derek Brown who's disruptive. They can cause negative plays. You have Brian Burns who can come off the edge and get sacks. You create a negative play here or there. You have Frankie Lou that can shoot gaps. There's a playmaker flying to the ball. You do what you can to get negative plays against the run. Count on your D-line and hopefully do that, but protect the secondary. Protect the secondary. And don't give up the big play. Make them, like I said, make them methodically move the ball. And it's been a sufficient formula. You're going to give up some yards in the run, but I think most offensive coordinators in the NFL aren't patient enough to run the ball down the field. They want to throw the ball. They're not patient enough to methodically put a drive together. Because the more plays you put into these drives, just like with us, we have to methodically move the ball. The more plays you have on the field, the more chances you have of making a mistake. You get a holding call, a false start that puts you behind the sticks. You make it a fumble or a pick. It's just the way it's a good mentality to have defensively. And I think that's what Ajiro has been sticking to, which is why our pass defense has been so efficient, but our run defense has been leaky at times. Because, like I said, we only have 5 men up front and 1 linebacker. Everybody has a gap and a half to play. And I'll break it down, like I said, on the film breakdown probably, because there's not a lot on offense to look at. So I'll probably do a film breakdown on defense. But once they get past that initial wave of the D-line, that's when it gets murky, because then you have guys in the secondary like Von Bell, Xavier Woods having to make tackles down the field. But if the D-line, like Derek Brown, can hold steady and be strong at the point of attack, we're going to have a good day. That's why you have 5, 6 DBs on the field normally and 1 linebacker at most. It's just the strategy of playing defense in the NFL. It's kind of the trend of where the defense is going. So it is what it is. Shout out to my guy QJ Smith on the Super Chat. Appreciate the support, man. It's always love, man. Appreciate the support from you. He said, we have former players on other teams balling. Yeah, I thought about starting a Twitter page and just shouting out all the former Panthers that we let go that have been hooping. You got McCaffrey, you got Hassan Riddick, you got Stephon Gilmore, all being game changers. All being game changers. DJ Moore, game changer. And that's why I'm not so quick to want to get rid of Brian Burns. Because what we will see Brian Burns do, on another team if we trade him will make you throw up. I'm telling you, you put Brian Burns with a better franchise, better coaching, you will be throwing up at what he can do because he still has untapped potential. J.C. Horn the same way. But people never learn. They want to trade and move on from guys just because they don't like what they did this or there. They don't like comments. They don't like how these guys reacted. It ain't personal, bro. It's a business. It's a business. Shout out to QJ on another one. Hey, man. He said Radio could have been a better owner than Tepper. Hey, man. Shout out to Radio, though. Shout out to T.L. Hanna High School. My former region rival. Played them in high school multiple times. Shout out to Radio. Shout out to T.L. Hanna. Said Brian Burns on the Cowboys. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not in the business of because you know we're not gonna get proper trade value. If you were gonna trade Brian Burns, you should have traded him last year when you had a chance. Now you gotta keep him because you're not going to get that. And if you don't get that and you still trade him, you're ridiculous. Brian Burns and Derek Brown are solid building blocks. But let's talk about Derek Brown, man, because I just don't think what he was doing yesterday, man, is crazy. It was crazy. Like, I know a lot of fans, people don't care about the run. People don't care about the run. They see the stats. They want to see pass rush. They want to see pressures. They want to see sacks. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want to see. They don't like stopping the run is not cute. It's not sexy. It's yeoman's work. Stopping the run is yeoman's work, especially as an interior D lineman. It's yeoman's work. But Derrick Brown has been dominant versus the run this year. There's not too many guys on our team that we can say have been dominant, but Derrick Brown has been dominant versus the run. I know a lot of y'all saying that, oh, we picked him top 10. He can't run. He can't rush the passer. I think he can rush the passer. He gets double teamed like crazy. He's not going to be Chris Jones. He's not going to be Quinnen Williams in terms of rushing the passer. He's not going to be Aaron Donald in terms of rushing the passer. But if I draft somebody top 10, I want somebody to be dominant at something. And Derrick Brown is dominant versus the run. I don't know how many more offensive linemen, quality offensive linemen, he has to embarrass before he gets the credit he deserves. You guys need to, as soon as this stream is over, I need you guys to go vote for Derrick Brown into the Pro Bowl. The guys that deserve it, we have to at least give them the props they deserve. The guys that deserve it, we have to get them the accolades and the recognition they deserve. Derrick Brown has been playing out of his mind. Dominant versus the run. Ryan Ramczyk trying to block him yesterday. Embarrassed. We saw what he did to Zach Martin. Hall of Fame guard. Embarrassed. What's the Falcons D lineman? We're playing him next week. He's ready to go crazy next week. Dominating in the trenches. Like, stopping the run it's not pretty. It's not cute. You're not going to get a ton of credit for it from the fans. But if you can dominate, dude, having a dominant interior guy, he's going to get paid. Derrick Brown, him saying last week, they asked him, what you have nothing to play for. Why are you going to go out there? What are you going to do? Derrick Brown said, I got kids to feed. It don't matter what our record is, yo. I got kids to feed. And that's the type of dudes you need on your team. You need dudes on your team that got stuff at stake. They got families they taking care of. They got kids to feed. They got people depending on them. It's bigger than themselves. So they're going to go out there every week and lay it on the line. They look at their opponent like, if I let you beat me, you taking food out my kid's mouth. So I can't let you take food out of my kid's mouth, take food off my kid's table. I got to go out there and feed my kids. And that's what Derrick Brown is going out there and doing. He feeding families out there. Ragdolling Alvin Kamara. High motor, playing more snaps than anybody in the league right now. More snaps than anybody. But continues to be high motor. 10 total tackles yesterday? Craziness. 10 total tackles from your DT. 10 total tackles from your defensive tackle. Another interception. Second career interception. Second time against the Saints. Doing it big. Shout out to Chunk on the super chat. Appreciate you. Say Derrick Brown, ESPN Analytics, DB ranks number 2 overall in run block win rate 6 days ago. And it's going to go higher. And if you look at the body of work, his sample size is way bigger than anybody else. He plays more reps and snaps than most D tackles in the league. He plays more snaps than a lot of these guys. So his body of work in terms of the win rate is even better. His dude has been dominant versus the run. Appreciate that nugget on the stat, Chunk. Appreciate that stat. You vote for Derrick Brown on NFL.com. You vote for Derrick Brown on NFL.com. Y'all saying, you say big Grizzly Brown. Yeah, dude, he's 6'5", 330. Dude is a grown man. He actually starting to look like Auburn Derrick Brown. Auburn Derrick Brown is what he's starting to look like. I think we have to keep the core together. Keep Derek, keep Brian. Try to figure out how to keep Louvu there. You got Shaq coming back. Shaq has one more year on his contract, only $6 million cap hit. So Shaq can be back healthy. Shaq is still a solid starter at linebacker. We got Bell and Woods are still on the contract. Horn, you got to just hope that he stays healthy again. Dante, you may trade him. I know there's some trade rumors. But you have the core pieces. You have the core pieces on defense. I would add maybe a young pass rusher. But I think you have the fabrics on defense. You have the pieces in-house currently on defense to stay competitive enough. We just need him to be competitive, defense to be competitive enough. That way we can allocate assets to the offense. We need to have a strong off-season focus on offense. We need to. So do what you got to do to keep that defense afloat. They've shown that they have some potential when they get healthy. Keep them together. Add stuff on like I said, allocate your assets to offense. I think another year, if Ajiro sticks around, another year in his system, I think will be even better. Y'all are asking me about my opinion on certain players. I think Louvu is a great piece. Nobody shoots the gap better than Frankie Louvu. He's a playmaker. I keep Louvu around. When I think about Bryce, it's hard to even evaluate Bryce with the circumstances. I have confidence in Bryce. He's built the right way to get better, but the bad circumstances can bring out the worst in anybody. Somebody said he's on pace to be sacked the 4th highest amount of times in league history. That will do damage to anybody. People are talking about his fundamentals. Like, bro, what do you expect to happen after being broken and battered for 12 games? How do I feel about Hollywood Brown? I go get speed in this draft before I pay Hollywood Brown. If it's not T. Higgins, I'm cool on any vets. If it's not T. Higgins, I'm cool on any vets. I'd rather just go to the draft. I get a solid vet. I'm cool on any high-priced vets. If it ain't Higgins or maybe even Adams, I'm cool on any other high-priced vets. I want a vet wide receiver. Remember what was his name? Jarius Wright. Remember we had Jarius Wright. He was pretty clutch at times on third down. Somebody like that. Tell Thielen to suck it up. I know he don't want to be here because he wanted to play on the right. Make him suck it up. Keep Mingo around. Put him in the slot. Go get you a Higgins. Go get you one receiver in the draft, 2, maybe double dip in the draft, and get you a athletic yards after catch tight end. And you got to get a coach that can reimagine the offense and let's cook. I think the path is clear. You have to just make the right GM hire and the right coach hire. I think 2 years with proper roster management and proper coaching with a vision that aligns together, we can right this ship in 1 to 2 years. Unfortunately, this was a throwaway year for Bryce. So we're not going to learn much about him except that he's tough as nails. But hopefully, like with Tua, you get a coach that actually believes in him, that sees the potential. You can make things happen. So it is what it is. Say, do we want a quarterback that can elevate? I think Bryce can elevate players. But what he can't elevate protection. Like, he can't block for himself. Y'all saying, and that's the thing I think fans get. Y'all normalized what happened to Cam Newton. What happened to Cam Newton's career is malpractice. The nickname Superman was taken to heart. Y'all have gotten comfortable with thinking that we don't have to put a lot of good pieces around a player. They should be able to overcome everything. Y'all wanted Cam, just because Cam had to have bad protection, lack of weapons. Y'all think every quarterback should have to do with that. That's not how you build a roster. I'm sorry. Y'all have gotten it normalized. Y'all have normalized having to play with garbage. No, that was Cam's downfall. Cam having to carry the team for years was his downfall. By the time we got CMC or DJ Moore or Curtis Samuel, he was broken by then. Like, I don't understand. Like, you want them to be able to elevate. But at the same time, on your rookie contract, spending the money everywhere else. But Joe Burrow, he has elite weapons. Jalen Hurts, elite weapons around him. The offense, the NFL is different these days. Quarterbacks aren't carrying teams like that anymore. It's not sustainable. There's no more Tom Brady's. There's no more Drew Brees that can just make Marcus Colston a legend or Lance Moore a legend. There's no more Aaron Rodgers that can just throw to anybody. This is a different league. Even the guys that are getting these huge contracts. Joe Burrow needs Jamar Chase, a top 5 wide receiver. T. Higgins, one of the best wide receiver 2s in the league. Joe Mixon, a top 10 running back. Even Joe Burrow needs that. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, a top running back in the league. Everybody needs weapons, man. No matter how much they're getting paid, this is a different NFL. It's different. So expecting guys to just overcome all this BS is not sustainable and it's not smart. Especially as a rookie. It's unrealistic. Like I said, what we did to Cam Newton was malpractice. We do not need to try to put Bryce in the scenario and say, well, he's our franchise quarterback. He should be able to elevate everybody on the team. Let's not give him weapons. That's David Tepper's thinking. I made a video about that. And it's showing his head now. Appreciate you, Lizard Hips. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes can't even elevate the current receivers that they had. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. You can't ask your rookie quarterback to elevate your team. You have to build a team. It's just the way that the NFL is now. Your supporting cast matters. If supporting cast matters. It matters. So we have to get some speed. We have to get some speed. But one last thing, man. J.C. Horn. Let's talk about J.C. real quick. J.C. Horn, 7 total tackles, a pass deflection. I'm so happy to see J.C. Horn getting his swag back. We saw the seatbelt come out for the first time in a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've seen the seatbelt. I am so happy JC is back out there, getting that confidence back up, getting reps. That long, deep deflection he got against Olave, when the ball was in the air, he didn't panic. He turned his head. He wasn't looking at the ball, because when you look back at the ball, it slows you down. He put his head down. Once he saw how far the ball was, he put his head down, hustled, broke the ball up. That's how you do it and not panic. CJ Henderson needs to learn from J.C. Horn, because usually without J.C. Horn, that's C.J. Henderson in that spot. That's C.J. Henderson in that spot. Literally letting the defense get behind him and then panicking. J.C. let him get behind him, sped up, recovered, played the hands, deflected it, put the seatbelt on. That's what we're missing. And notice how much better Dante has played over the last 2 weeks. Over the last 2 weeks when J.C. Horn is on the field. When you have J.C. Horn on the field, you don't have to let Dante Jackson be your primary corner and put him in unfavorable matchups. I think people get mad at Dante, but Dante, if you start looking at Dante more for what he is instead of what you want him to be, you'll understand who Dante is. Dante, there's certain matchups that Dante just can't handle. Bigger body receivers, not great. Those really quick, sharp route technicians, like a Ridley, Dante's not great against. But the speedy guys who aren't as shifty, Dante can clamp up. You saw what he did to DJ Moore. He can play with guys like that. He's had 2 good weeks. When you have a guy like J.C. Horn on the field, it makes the rest of the secondary better. I'm hoping, dude, if he can come around, man, and we get something from him, and he's healthy. Our cornerback room is actually solid when healthy. We've seen it over the past 2 weeks. I'm hoping we get the rest of these games with JC in the game. because the ripple effect from JC playing, man, it just makes everybody better in the secondary, man. Because you see, JC was one-on-one on that deep pass. Von Bell was trying to come over the top, but he was late. So JC was on one-on-one. He got on his horse, played the hands perfectly, didn't panic, no PI, broke it up. Yes, he gave up the little slant touchdown. That was a quick play, good throw, good route. It happens. Shake the guy's hand. But I'm seeing JC getting that confidence back. He got to keep stacking days. He was active in the running game, making tackles at the line of scrimmage. Getting tackles at the line of scrimmage. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Appreciate you for the super chat, Lizard Hips. Said Troy Hill is my unsung hero. Appreciate you tuning in, Janelle. Sorry it took me so long to get to your question. Homie said, I'm preaching today. It ain't even Sunday. I got my coffee. I hadn't been drinking from the game. I'm not emotional. I got clear thoughts, and I got some Starbucks in my system. I got to start doing more live streams again, man. Interacting with y'all makes me feel better. I'm not going to lie. Interacting with y'all live makes me feel better. It helps me get my thoughts out off the top of my head at the same time, talking with y'all in the comments. I love it. I'm going to get back to doing more live streams. Try to do it twice a week. Nobody talks about Chuba, man. Yeah, I'm not even going to have to give big up Chuba anymore. I don't have to. I feel like I did the leg work, and now people are seeing my vision from years. I've been making film breakdowns on Chuba since his rookie year. People are finally starting to appreciate him, so I feel like I can finally rest. And then what Thanos said, I can finally rest. I can finally rest and look back on my accomplishment. It was a hard-fought battle trying to get y'all to see what I was seeing in Chuba, but he's been putting in the work. He's been putting in the work. He's been putting in work. Yeah, Bryce missed some passes, so that's what always sticks out in people's head. But like the passes he was dropping to guys that they were dropping themselves were bad. The scrambling, we finally got to see him run. He looked fast. That 31-yard run, Bryce looked fast. He looked fast. He looked fast. Yeah, Chuba is a good complimentary back. We need a home run hitter. Like Miles, I like the idea. He was looking efficient. He'll probably be around, but we need home run hitters that can finish those type of runs. They have the speed to finish those type of runs because we're not that good from the 1-yard line. So we need speed backs that can finish those long runs. Yeah, we need playmakers. Yeah, Chuba, yeah, his balance has improved, man. Last week he was slipping because it was wet, but he admitted last week that he had groin surgery. He had groin surgery. He said he had groin surgery before his rookie year and after his rookie year. So to me, that explains why his balance was so shaky. And he looks like a different back right now. He looks bigger. He looks quicker. He's more decisive in the run game. I think Chuba's fine. If we can get Miles to come around, I would love it. I would love to see Miles give me hope down this back stretch. I still would add a home run hitter with speed at running back. That's what I would say. And you can get you don't even have to draft those guys. Keaton Mitchell, some of y'all are East Carolina fans probably. Shout out to Greenville, North Carolina. Keaton Mitchell was undrafted. And he's fighting to be one of the lead backs for the Ravens now. He has speed. He had speed in college. I don't know how he didn't get drafted, but Keaton Mitchell's an undrafted free agent. He's making an impact. You can find impact players when you have the proper GM and scouts in place. That's why I said we get the right coach and GM with the same vision, because that's what went wrong. Scott and Frank did not have the same vision. So if we get those guys out of here, we get a GM and a head coach with the same vision, we can right this ship in 2 years. You got to draft well, but we can right this ship in 2 years. Before Bryce, while Bryce is still on his rookie contract, you can right this ship. 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. And I was scared yesterday when Chuba got hurt. I was like, man, this dude came off the best game of his career last week and got hurt early. Only missed the play, was heel clicking. That was so funny. He was heel clicking after he got hurt. But I was happy to see him get up and get ready. So yeah, people hold Chuba's rookie year against him with drop passes but his hands have improved. Yeah, Chuba, dude. If you haven't seen Chuba's track of improvement, you're just blind. You gotta stop being dug in on rookie impressions. And that's why I was so like, that's why people don't really like, even with Derrick Brown, people were trying to say he was a bust. Remember he got benched against the Redskins or the Commanders when I guess that was Cam's comeback game, but now he's dominant in the run game. You got to give these guys time. That's why I'm like, why are y'all jumping the gun on Bryce Young when y'all did that with Derrick Brown and been proven wrong? You jumped the gun on Chuba. Some people were saying Chuba should have been cut, and now he's our bell cow running back. You got to give these guys time to develop, man. You got to give these guys time to develop. Experience and just letting their body develop as well, learning the game, learning what they can get away with, learning how teams are trying to attack them, learning how they can attack teams. That's what Derrick had to do. Derrick had to learn how teams are blocking him and then realize that, okay, hey, I'm just going to refuse to be blocked and dominate the run game. It's lovely to see. But I got to get up off here, man. I got to get to work. I will be doing maybe a Panthers news video today. We'll see if anything crazy comes out. If not, it may come tomorrow. We'll probably get some news from the press conferences. But I appreciate you guys rocking with me on the Monday reaction. Like I said, sober, clear head at drinking beers during the game and being pissed off. I like this feedback. And talking to you guys in the morning. Working from home give me these luxuries, but I gotta go. I got some meetings coming up and I got a lot of work to do. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, video coming down. I'll probably do a defensive team film breakdown. If not, it'll just be on Derrick Brown because he's been dominating. So I'll do that. But I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Give the video a thumbs up when I end this. Go vote for Derrick Brown. When I end this, go vote for Derrick Brown. Go vote for Derrick Brown for Pro Bowl. Please, let's get him in the Pro Bowl, man. He deserves it. Let's get him in the Pro Bowl, man. It helps these guys with bonuses and they get money. He said he got to feed his kids. Let's get Derrick Brown to the Pro Bowl, guys. You guys saying great stream. Y'all I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It's like I said, it's a lot more fun when we calm down and digest the game and talk about it, talk it through. We all we got. David Tepper don't love us, so we got to love on each other and talk ourselves through this mess. Like I said, the right head coach, the right GM on the same page. 2 years, man. 2 years. We can get this right. All right. Go vote Derrick Brown. All right. I'm out of here. Peace.